I'm Eve Lyon, Recovery Navigator for Career Source Research Coast. Welcome to St. Lucie Recovery Works, an initiative supported by the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity. In an effort to connect the social service and treatment service providers and the judicial and law enforcement systems to the workforce development community, I invite guests each month for conversations on prevention, treatment, and recovery to highlight the resources and success stories that demonstrate recovery is possible. Our ultimate goal is to improve outcomes for people with substance use disorder, a condition that affects millions of people across the globe, people from all walks of life. We all know someone who is personally dealing with substance use disorder, or we know a family who is coping with a loved one struggling with substance use disorder. Substance use disorder is not a moral failing. It is a treatable disease, and 3 out of 4 people who experience substance use disorder will recover. Fortunately, we have many resources available locally to help and, in fact, save lives when someone experiences a medical emergency. Tonight, I will welcome 2 guests to speak about emergency medical services from the training perspective and the emergency medical response. We all hope to never need these services, but I admit I learned a lot about what is available locally while preparing for these interviews, and we are blessed to have such comprehensive, cost-effective, and state-of-the-art resources when emergencies do arise. I would like to welcome Pamela Turner, Program Coordinator for the EMS Safety and Healthcare Training Center. Welcome, Pamela.
Hello.
Great for you to join us tonight. Can you explain what EMS Safety and Healthcare Training Center offers?
EMS Safety and Healthcare Training Center offers programs for CNA, BLS provider through American Heart Association, first aid, HIV training. We have now started a phlebotomy program, and we have other courses in the works, medical assistant and also EKG.
Okay, actually, after this interview, I think we need to talk because I was at a treatment service provider yesterday, one of the largest in the region actually, and learned that some of the nurses who are working in their system don't on a regular basis practice phlebotomy, and they would like to offer a brush-up course for their nursing staff, so we'll have to connect on that one.
Yes, we will be talking.
Oh, okay, great. So the purpose of EMS Safety and Healthcare Training Center is to provide educational opportunities, and they're focused on, you told me, both theoretical knowledge and practical skills for those occupations that you mentioned?
Yes, especially for the certified nursing assistant. They need to know the theory of being a nursing assistant first, so they're able to understand what's expected of the job. And then the clinical skill set is where you actually go in and do your hands-on.
Okay, that's great. So is it safe to say that you assist hundreds of people annually to achieve and maintain certification credentials? And then I guess also we should probably talk about who some of your local clients are.
Yes, that is true. Right now, at the end of 2020, we had a total of 57 graduates, and currently everybody is employed, licensed, and working. December of 2022, we completed the phlebotomy course with the 4 students, and 1 is currently a traveling phlebotomist, and the other 2 were accepted at LabCorp. And the 4th one is currently applying to other labs in the local region.
Well, we at Career Source are all about jobs, so
yes.
I love to hear success stories about people who take part in training and then ultimately end up in their chosen field. So that's really great. I know that you do assist them with some of the job search or having some of the hiring organizations come in to talk with your graduates.
We assist with job placement, and that is done sometimes after their state board exam is completed because they get their results immediately, and we'll have different agencies come inside and do interviews on the spot, and they will get hired right after the exam. So it's like, wow, you just passed your state board. Well, guess what? Now you have a job.
Congratulations.
So it's outstanding.
Yeah. And so how do you actually receive referrals for the training?
Everything right about now is like word of mouth, also through paid advertisement through 104.5.
Oh, little plug. Good on you.
Yes. 104.5 The Flame. So, yes, we do a lot of community events where we'll go to minority expos or business expos, and just to put a face to the training So to let these individuals know that we're here to help.
And I think you mentioned you get referrals like from Lawnwood, HCA, Cleveland Clinic.
Yes. We do handle the hospitals too.
And Career Source.
And Career Source, how can I forget?
Yeah.
I apologize. I did not forget Career Source. Career Source is like our number one contender for the age of 16 to 24 with their youth, because though that particular high school / young adult group is where we're trying to get the meat and potatoes from too. So to have them go through high school, finish high school, or still be in high school, but at least be able to get a job and work on other things in the process.
On a credential. Yeah, that's wonderful. And they're getting exposed to a field that they may want to continue their education in and continue to move on. So that's great. We love that youth program at Career Source, the 16 to 24. So if anyone's listening, go to our website. It's careersourcerc.com, and you can learn all about all of our services, but certainly about our youth services as well. So are your trainings offered virtually or in person?
We have learned that trainings offered virtually are not as effective as they are in person because everybody learns differently. So we try to avoid virtual, but if we have to, for whatever reason, we will, but we prefer the hands-on, come inside, let me see you, make sure you're not asleep in class.
Yeah, and we just know people have all different kinds of ways that they learn. So it's I'm sure much easier to adapt when you're one-on-one in person than trying to figure out what's going on the screen virtually. We know that there's a great need in our area for qualified and certified staff to work in the medical fields. And I want to commend you on helping people that once they graduate, that you do help connect them to that employment and that they walk out the door with a job. So it is a really helpful and great community service. And I would assume that the class sizes depend on the training topic?
That is correct. We keep the class sizes at a 4 or 5 minimum. The smaller the class, the better. And if you're just one student, that's fine. You'll get that one-on-one attention.
That's a really good philosophy. Again, adapting curriculum and the teaching methodology supports successful outcomes. So, do you provide specific training for mental health first aid? Do you recommend to approach somebody or support somebody with a substance use disorder?
We train for CPR and first aid, but also with the CPR, we discuss about opioid abuse and the use of Narcan. So you have to be aware of what to do if you are a first responder, if you have access to that particular medication.
And Narcan is an inhaled medication that can be utilized when somebody's overdosing to stabilize them. If they're not overdosing and you administer the Narcan, nothing will happen. There's no other side effect, but certainly it does save lives if you do administer it. So I always like to mention Narcan. And then, you mentioned sadly our area does have a high incident for overdose. Know that you can de-escalate somebody if they waiting for emergency services to administer the Narcan, but still call emergency services. Don't just think that everything's going to be okay. I know medication administration is something else that you focus on.
We offer a course. It's a 6-hour self-administration training course, and it's meant for assisted living facilities because they have med techs in the facilities, the larger ones that issue medication. So they're trained to know how to recognize the resident, understand the resident's rights, what they're able to do for medication, and as a unlicensed professional, what you are expected to do because you're not a licensed professional such as a nurse.
Right. So it's administration of medications as well as the appropriate documentation and calculating the drug and that sort of thing?
Not the calculating
Oh, you don't get
part.
into the
we
calculation.
don't get the calculating.
Okay.
The calculating is with the pharmacist.
The pharmacist. So how long have you been doing this work?
Since April 1st of 2018.
And how did you become interested in this work?
I became interested in this work due to the fact that I was diagnosed with breast cancer stage 2.
Wow.
And if I didn't have those personnel at the VA hospital that had an awesome bedside manner, I don't think that I would possibly be here right now. I just want to return the favor because those individuals at the hospital were trained and taught correctly and it was effective. And I want to do the same here on a local level.
I'm clapping. So you definitely turned lemons into lemonade. And I understand that you also formed a nonprofit organization to assist with our local housing crisis. Can you talk about the mission and vision of Caring Hands and Hearts Outreach?
Caring Hands and Hearts Outreach, Inc. is meant to assist with affordable housing. We go out and we remodel mobile homes and put individuals in need into those mobile homes in the mobile home park, but we want to make you into homeowners in the process. So it's basically like this. If you pay your rent for 2 years complete with no issues at all, but you have 3, you can call them, okay, well, this is what happened episodes, that's fine. And afterwards, with the 2 years of rent being paid, you can turn around and own that mobile home. And if you choose to take that mobile home off the park, that's fine. That's your business, because it's now your mobile home. And if you own land, you can place that mobile home on land.
It's like a rent to own philosophy. Yes. Okay, great. So the pandemic, I know, caused you to have a little bit of a slow start, but I'm confident you'll continue to grow your program. Thank you for your work and for joining us tonight to inform the community about the training you provide. How does someone reach out to you and learn more about both the training and Caring Hands and Hearts?
They can reach out. Our telephone number is 772-742-8503. Our mobile number is 772-626-5574, and we are located at 1905 South 25th Street, Suite 105, Fort Pierce, Florida 34947.
Okay, so I didn't give the go get your pen and paper prompt first, so in case somebody wasn't ready, that was 772-742-8503 for the office, or the mobile number is 772-626-5574. And did you want to give your email as well?
The email address is emsSHTC911@gmail.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight and sharing all of that useful information. And keep up the great work. It takes a village, and you're doing your part, and I appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
First responders and public safety are on the front lines of the local opioid epidemic. They're the first response to 911 overdose calls. Tonight, I'm privileged to have Battalion Chief Chad Crouse to tell us about their comprehensive services to preserve life and property and provide a safe community for all of us. Welcome, Chad. I was amazed to learn about all of the resources available, and I'm certain that our listeners will learn some new things this evening about your work. What area makes up the St. Lucie County Fire District, and how is it governed?
Thanks for having me, first of all. And our organization's a little bit unique in that we are not a traditional fire department. In the state of Florida, there's about 460 fire departments. St. Lucie County is what's considered a fire district. There are just 22 of them. Ordinarily, within a county, you may have city fire departments and other county agencies that all cover different areas of jurisdiction. In St. Lucie County, the fire district covers all areas of the county. There's no other agencies that respond to medical emergencies except for the fire district. So how we're governed because of that is by a fire board. Generally, there's 7 members. 2 come from the St. Lucie County Commissioners, 2 come from Fort Pierce City Commission, and 2 come from the Port St. Lucie City Council. The governor will also appoint that 7th member, and that way we have equal representation across the jurisdictions that we service.
And I would assume that makes the system much more efficient and also affordable.
It does. We have one fire chief. In Palm Beach County, for example, they have 14 different fire and emergency service organizations. That means 14 fire chiefs, 14 HR departments, and so we're allowed to have some considerable savings for the taxpayers by being under one roof.
Did everybody hear that? That's important. There are many programs and services that are offered by our local fire district that the average resident is probably most likely not aware of. Can you speak about some of the public information and public education that your department offers?
The first thing that I would direct everyone to do is to take a look at our website, which is www.slcfd.com. And on that webpage, you'll find the Our Community link. And there's a lot of access to our public education programs. We generally look at 2 different areas. We have our youth, and then because of our area, we have a elderly population that has different needs that we want to address. So for the youth, we have a big program that goes on that's our fire safety trailer, and we're able to go out into the community and teach the importance of having a fire safety plan and to teach them about the dangers that come along with fire. On the other end, we also have a program that is designed for our seniors, what's called Remembering When. That program is specifically designed at fall prevention, and also some of the dangers that occur with candles and electrical issues that occur in those homes, to give them the ability to do a self-checklist to make sure that they're not putting themselves needlessly in danger.
I live in a 55-plus community, and you're on our list to come in, and I think that's terrific to just have that. But don't you also have another program about medication?
Yes, so I was going to get to the program that really fits everyone in our community. They are the same idea and concept, but for two different areas. And the first is our Yellow Dot program.
Right. And
the Yellow Dot program is free for everyone to access. We provide the materials. And the goal of this is during a medical emergency, and some severe ones, the person may be incapacitated or unconscious, and part of our assessment is needing to know some medical information. So the Yellow Dot program is designed for your vehicle. You'll place the yellow dot on the back of the windshield, and that will let us know that you've put your medical information card in your glove box. The reason why we like in the glove box is because due to the nature of vehicle accidents, sometimes things can be moved around. We know that's a safe and secure location. If you do lock it, we can definitely get into that.
Yeah,
that's not a concern. But that lets our paramedics know, do you have any allergies? Do you have any medical history that we need to know about? And the Vial of Life program is also considered our refrigerator record.
Yes.
And that's for your home. The same idea, when we're in your home, if you don't have the program, we'll absolutely look for your medicine and make sure we can find that. That gives us a little bit of a clue into what your medical history is. We play a little bit of detective.
Mm-hmm.
But this would tell us that you're going to keep that on your refrigerator, that same pertinent medical information that we need to properly take care of you in the event that you're not able to tell us.
Right. That is so smart. And I want to go back to youth for a minute again, because there's another side of the youth diversion program that I thought was really innovative, and that's the Fire Setter Intervention Program.
The Juvenile Fire Setter Program is a national program that is put on by the National Fire Academy, and we actually send our personnel to be trained in that program. And the goal of this is that when we have a youth in our community that has played with fire or has an incident with that, in some cases there are legal ramifications, but we'd rather educate, and like you said, it's a diversion program.
Yes.
And so in many cases, they're able to go through our program. They work with our employees. We train and educate them on the dangers of that. And I think it's a better alternative
absolutely
than the other direction. And so that we have trained personnel that can respond. There's a long list of the education. So we also do fire extinguisher training that can be requested. A lot of companies, and particularly we talked about the assisted living facilities. There's some requirements to have fire extinguishers in those homes, but we also have to train them how to use those. And car seat installations.
Yes.
We absolutely train our personnel. There's a specific course that we go to, and we have times provided. By going to our website, you can find a way to schedule that, or when we have community events coming up where we'll install your car seat. They get quite complex nowadays.
Yeah, I can imagine. So that's slcfd.com is the
yes,
website?
It is. And so I'm going to give you two contact. I'll give you time to get a pen. The first one is going to be Stacy Carter. She was actually our staff employee of the year. She does a phenomenal job. Her email is scarter, spelled Carter, at slcfd.org. And her number is 772-621-3375. The next contact is Brenda Stokes. She's our public information officer and really a valuable resource in coordinating all of our community efforts. Her email is bstokes, spelled Stokes, at slcfd.org, and her contact number is 772-621-3333. And of course, if you don't have that, you can always contact our main administration number, and our secretaries will get you their assistance, and that number is 772-621-3400.
Okay, that's great. And it's important to note that the public education and public information is offered free of charge or at a very low individual fee, with a goal of increasing knowledge of our fire and injury prevention. And you did mention during our preparation that the programs are developed based on the current emergency response trends, which makes a lot of sense. So it really shows us that you're being proactive and responsive, and how important that is to connect with what's needed in the local community. So also, I think should mention that the fire district is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and that you do use social media to inform the public and promote available resources, and also share critical information that's happening in the community. So you're a battalion chief in the training division. How many firefighters are you responsible for providing training oversight to, and what are the typical training certifications that are required to keep our firefighters and our citizens safe?
Our training division oversees the training of 440 of our line personnel.
Wow.
And that number is growing. Obviously, with our community growth, we have plans for 3 new fire stations in the coming years, which will bring us to over 500 personnel.
And a total how many stations?
20 when we're done with the next
Okay.
3. So the way we receive our employees and our we call them our family members. It's our family serving yours.
Yes.
And they come to us already certified as EMTs, emergency medical technicians, and firefighters. But in order to maintain that level, there's recertification training that we need to do with them every year to make sure they stay relevant. So that is all required. We have our mandated training. Many of our personnel will go on to become a paramedic, which is our advanced life support skill set. That also is quite a process. They have to go through additional, almost a year of schooling, pass a national registry exam. And then they don't get to come in right away and just function as a paramedic. They go into our apprenticeship program, which generally people can get released within 6 to 12 months, but they work with another paramedic, actually multiple different paramedics. They're evaluated to make sure that they're meeting our level of care. Our community has consistently said that high quality emergency services is what they expect out of us most, so a lot of our time is focused there. Of course, we also have to develop the people that lead those teams. So we have a comprehensive fire officer development program. The fire officers are those that will be responsible for managing the scenes that we go to, whether it's medical or fire. And getting to that point, a fire department really is no longer what we do. We are a all hazards organization. So whether there's a hazardous material incident, whether there's someone, we have air medical services, we respond to fires, motor vehicle accidents. There's really no limit to what we're going to. We have Brightline coming in. We know that down south they have a number of emergencies related to that. Our personnel will respond to those. There's always something coming. We specifically started receiving new heart valves that require special treatment. And anytime someone moves into the community, we actually notify our personnel and we train them specifically on how to deal with that. So it's at a very large level, and then at a very small level, there's not always something to do.
And it sounds like you're really on top of being proactive and really, again, addressing what our needs are locally, like who is living in the community and what's coming up that you really need to focus on. So with our local opioid crisis, I would expect that many calls are related to substance misuse or overdose. Do you have a message to share on these dangers?
I do. I think the most important message is this. While we would have loved to avoid every opioid-related overdose, we know we can't. What we need from the community is to contact us as soon as possible. The survival rates in an overdose situation are directly related to how quickly we can get to that scene. We're not concerned about any legalities. We just simply want to be there to help.
That's important to
So the quicker that you can contact us, our paramedics are to show up with no stigma and get you treated and to the right place so that you can get better.
So there is help available through either calling 211.org on a website or 211 on your telephone. We'll direct you to any of the treatment service, counseling, behavioral health services available in our community. And I always like to put that out there. Or I'm always available also to make personal connections, and that's Lyon at careersourcerc.com. That's ELYON at careersourcerc.com. So if someone is listening who has a family member dealing with something yourself, or a friend or coworker, that you're looking for resources. So it's important that we do talk about that stigma and erase it and make sure that people just reach out, ask for help, and don't worry about the legal end of it, just save lives. So rescues are not always land-based. I read a recent media release about a marine rescue during Hurricane Nicole, and so do you want to talk about that?
That was one of the more interesting calls we've ever received. At the time, I was at our Emergency Operations Center, which is where we organize and manage the overall incident. Anytime there's a hurricane coming, we set up quite a big command structure for that. But we received a call from two elderly people who were trying to ride out the storm in the Intercoastal on a sailboat. And their anchor broke loose, and they drifted into the bridge and were stuck there. So our crews initially went out, but we're the fire department. We do have a water rescue unit, but of course the Coast Guard and
that's their role.
Marine Patrol. They related that due to the eye wall being just about on top of us, that they weren't going to be able to respond. So the initial thought was we were going to rappel down from the bridge and retrieve these individuals and bring them to safety. Keep in mind the boat is going up and down anywhere from 10 to 12
I'm
feet.
a boater, I can imagine.
Each time. This is the peak of the storm.
Oh.
And right before our crew started to go down, it actually broke free of the bridge and then drifted away and was stuck on a sandbar. We were able to send out on our 17-foot flaps boat 2 of our crew members. They were able to hug the shoreline to keep out of the wind. They were able to do it safely and get those individuals to safety. But it's something that just shows that we're always going to respond. It's our role to save and protect our community, and we're going to keep doing that the best that we can, no matter what the emergency is.
And thank you for that, because I know law enforcement declined and Coast Guard declined, but the fire rescue went out and saved those 2 people. So thank you for that. So thank you, Chad. As we said, in addition to 911, we want to promote that 211 if somebody does need support. It is a confidential community helpline and a crisis hotline, providing immediate guidance and support for individuals and families who find themselves without answers to problems that they might face on a daily basis. And again, I'll put my contact out there, Lyon at careersourcerc.com. Employment provides important structure as well as meaningful purpose for all people and is associated with better quality of life, greater self-esteem, and happiness. CareerSource Research Coast offers valuable tools for both job seekers and employers. Employers are supported with hiring and training. Job seekers can explore in-demand career opportunities and receive support with job search, job readiness, and training. So that's careersourcerc.com for the website to learn about our services. I'd like to give a huge thank you to my guests, and thank you for listening tonight. Please tune in next month at 7:30 on February 27th to hear more stories about how recovery works.